The first questioner says, since the Sharia discusses extensively on the rights of servants, nanny, and cooks, this is an indication that having them is recognized in the Sharia. But why does our Shaykh Abu Nasir constantly discourages married women having any of these aids to ease their affairs in their home?
I am discouraging it because the Prophet too, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he discouraged his daughter. And any father will give the best advice to his daughter. When Ali ibn Abi Talib told Fatima radiallahu anha to go and ask for help, perhaps the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam could give a slave or a servant to her to help her take care of her jobs. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not agree with Fatima, despite the fact that she was actually suffering. She was actually facing the job. She had blisters on her hand that had become dried. The hand had become a very, very strong hand because of work. She would grind, she would carry matter. She didn't have a servant. Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, did not have a servant. And when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was approached, her husband was the one who even told her, go and meet your father to help you. And when she came, the Prophet discouraged her and rather gave her a prayer that will make her be able to do the job very well. So if the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that to his own daughter, not just a companion, his daughter, said, don't look for a servant, do the work yourself. And that is the best man. There is no woman on the earth today that is better than Fatima. Just like there is no man today that is better than the Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu salam. The Prophet said, Ana Sayyidu waladi Aadam wala fakhr. I'm the head, the leader, the best of the children of Adam. And I am not saying it out of fakhru, out of any sort of gloating or pride. I am better than all of you. And he is Sayidu-l Bashar, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. This is the advice that he is giving to Sayidatu Nisai-l Janah. Is giving to the lady, chief lady of the women of Al-Janah, Fatima. Say, go back and do the work, despite the fact that the works were tough on her. So despite the fact that, oh woman, the job is tough on you, you find it hard, you find it difficult. I am the prophet to you. What the prophet said to the daughter is what I will say to you. Don't go and look for nanny. Don't go and look for cook. Do the job yourself. This is the first reason why I tell you what the Prophet told his daughter. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The second thing why I do that is that many of the men have fallen prey to being indecent with nannies. Some of those men may not at the beginning think that they will become indecent. But when the nanny cooks food, dresses your bed, you are looking at her doing that, and your wife is in the parlor, sitting room. Men are created such that we like people who dress our bed and give us food. So if it is our wife that is dressing our bed and give us food, who do we love? We love him. The women will love their husbands. The husband will love the wife. If you cook his food, you dress his bed, you take care of his personal things that are personal to him. But when you leave that to the nanny, because he's a human being, if he becomes unable to control himself, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا, you and I have heard a lot of things that are sufficient. I don't need to start saying it here. We have many men who have fallen prey to that evil. Many homes have been destroyed because of nanny and cook and the kind of indecency that finally goes up in the home. So that's why I say to avoid these kinds of evil. And the Sharia understands and approves what they refer to as Saddu Zaria. You do something that puts you away from falling into a problem. You do something that puts you away from falling into a problem. So when you do that, you are safe. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبْهَاتِ فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَأَ لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ. فَإِنَّ الْحَلَالَ بَيِّنٌ وَإِنَّ الْحَرَامَ بَيِّنٌ. Halal is clear, haram is clear. You go away from haram. Not just haram. If a thing can bring you to haram, you go away from it. So you keep your deen safe. لِاسْتِبْرَاءِ الدِّينِ وَالْعِرْضِ. You keep your deen safe. You keep your ird safe. So you are a clean man. You don't have anything inside your household that you are scared of. He's a decent person. He has no woman other than his wife under his roof. So this is best for you. This is best for all of us. It is best for the woman too. Because when she faces that job, she seeks a means to paradise. That the woman is working for her husband, caring for the home, cooking and all of this. They are from the means of the ways of paradise. So that was why the Prophet insisted, alayhi salatu wasalam, that his own daughter should continue. In fact, he gave her a prayer that will make it easy for her to continue. She will work and become tired through the day. He said, do this one. Allah will restore your energy to you. As if to say you will reload and be able to go back to that job the following day. If this is the advice of the Prophet to his beloved daughter, and the Prophet likes Fatima, alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, I love Fatima. And whatever hurts Fatima hurts me. Yet he will tell her, go back to that job. It means that is the best thing that any woman can do. It is better for a woman not to have a nanny, not to have a cook. And she's the one being the nanny of her daughters. She's the one being the cook of her daughters. It is best. It's the best thing you can do for yourself as a woman. And you'll be protecting yourself from exposing your husband to danger. May Allah protect each and every one of us. You'll also protect yourself, oh woman, from laziness. Many of the women are lazy today. Some women have become obese, and diabetes is pursuing them because of laziness. In fact, you have women who are so lazy that they can't even carry their own handbags. People have to help them carry their handbags. They are lazy. They can't wash hijab, ordinary hijab. Some women cannot wash because they become very lazy. They start looking for slaves and nannies and servants to work for them. Mr. Madam, do the work yourself and earn your rewards. May Allah protect each and every one of us.
Ameen. Jazakumullahu khairan, ya Shaykhana.
Ameen wa iyyakum.
In regards to the
Next question here about Yusuf, let me quickly address it. Someone said she heard that Fatima later got a slave. Isn't that true? You should bring the hadith where Fatima got a slave. I don't know that hadith. We don't know the hadith. Then the woman said to Aisha had a slave. How do we reconcile that? If Aisha had a slave, you don't have a slave. It's not as if we are saying that it is wrong to have a slave. Please understand it. Put everything in its place. We have been talking about slaves, servants. Men had, women had. We are not saying that it is wrong. But it is better for you not to bring a nanny. The nanny is not your slave. The slave is like a property, like Naira and Kobo. It is different in this aspect from a servant. A servant, you employ that person to do your work. A slave is part of something you, people even inherited. There are some of the women who inherited those slaves. In fact, some people they give people slave like a gift. This is different. So someone gives you a slave as a gift. You have it. It is your slave, like a gift, like a car, like money. This is one thing. But to now go and employ one nanny to be cooking for you is another thing. You go to employ and you'll be paying for that service because you don't want to do the job. So if Aisha had a slave, it's not entirely evidence that you should have a nanny. It could have been given to her as a gift. She could have bought the slave. And these women of the Prophet sallallahu, go back and read about their life. They used to walk inside the house of the Prophet Muhammad. The wives of the Prophet used to walk. So if his wives were not working and he made them to have slaves, alayhi salatu, if this is the case, well, he said, my own daughter, don't take a slave. Which one do you think is better? You know, if someone wants to find an excuse, by all means, we are not saying that don't have a slave, don't have nanny, don't have cook. We have repeatedly said you can have a slave, you can have a nanny, but you are sharing the deeds of your Al-Janah with nannies and cooks. You have 10 things to do to get to Al-Janah. You give 8 to nanny, you are doing 2. Don't you know that if you are not careful, the scale of good deeds will be very light? You have 8 things, for example, to do to get 10 things to do to get to Al-Janah in the house, because this is the job of the woman. It's like the man's going out to seek for feeding the home. It's your sadaqah. You leave all the sadaqah to the nanny to do. You sit down watching TV. These days, you sit down browsing on Facebook and pressing WhatsApp, reading all WhatsApp, going from one social media platform to the other. This is the reason why you cannot face your job at home. And then you are asking why Aisha has a slave. I think the question, we should not find a means of getting out of what we should do. Prophet said, alayhi salatu salam, ihris ala ma yanfa'uka. Make good efforts regarding something that brings benefit to you. Wala ta'jaz. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Work at home, oh woman. Work. Do your work. Cook your food. Take care of your children. In fact, the most serious women do this. Most serious women take care of their own children themselves. The most serious women cook their own food for their husbands themselves. The most serious women take care of their rooms, the rooms of their husbands themselves. They take care of the beds. In fact, some women will tell you, I cannot allow a woman to touch my husband's bed. These are women who know what it takes to have a husband. But when you push the needs of your husband to your nanny, which one will you do to enter Al-Janah? Because Aisha had a slave. Allahu Akbar.
Now,
I mean, the women should work. They should work at home. If we say women should sit at home and not be going to office and return to office, this is what we encourage too. In the home, you have a lot of things to do. Work at home. You are working your Al-Janah. As we said, men in the last class, we said men should know that they are doing all they are doing, spending on the family. They should have an intention that they are doing it for the sake of Allah and that they want to earn His rewards. The same thing. The women should work at home, having it in mind that they are seeking their Jannah from it. Women work at home. Allahu A'lam.